All right, we made it inside before the cops came. Actually, there's no cops coming. No one cares if my car alarm's going off, except for it's annoying. Think about it. The purpose of a car alarm, well, first is to scare the person breaking into it. It's supposed to distract them, like, oh my God, and make them stop. But two, it's supposed to alert everyone around that something bad's happening. That does not work anymore. What's the first thing that pops into your mind when someone's car alarm is going off and you hear it? I'll tell you what doesn't pop into your mind. Oh my God, someone's stealing that car. No. The first thing we all think of is what moron just sat on his keys. Shut the car alarm off. It's annoying, right? That's what we all think. We're not worried that someone's car is being stolen. So anyway, yes, I made it inside. I wanted to have a little face-to-face on this because here's how I feel this whole thing was. It was a journey for me. It certainly was. I took on something that was definitely outside of my comfort level, which is something I try to do these days. I try to progress and try new things, learn new things. You know, you can never get too old for knowledge. You know, there's always room to learn something new. I've never been a mechanic. I've never been slightly mechanically inclined when it comes to cars, trucks, vans, vehicles, whatever. Anything with a motor. I've never been that guy. You know, to, I'm going to take the motor apart and clean the carb out and place a couple spark plugs. And no, that was never me. I wanted to do that. I thought I knew what I was talking about, but I didn't. I never had any hands-on experience with taking motors apart or doing anything like that. I've been good with puzzles and problem solving. I could take something apart and put it back together. It might take me a long time, but I'm diligent. You know, I'll make sure that I finish that project. So when I had the opportunity to get this truck, even though full knowing, full disclosure that it didn't run and no one knows why, the old Jeff would have been like, nope, forget it. No, I don't know how to fix it. I have no money, no time, no knowledge, and no tools. Why in the world would I try to fix that? But you know what? The new Jeff said, why not? Why can't I fix it? Why sell myself short? What's the mechanic going to do that I can't do? Here's what I'll do. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to buy some tools. Okay, don't have any money for tools. Don't have any money for parts of the car. I'll find money. I'll sacrifice. It's important to have a car. I'll sell some fun stuff. You know, for some important stuff. That's what we do in life as an adult, being a mature adult, responsible adult. A lot of adults sacrifice all the time. You have a kid, forget it. You don't get fun stuff anymore. Not if you're a responsible adult. Every penny you got goes into your kids. You know, I got Gus now. Gus is first for me. He is my kid. You know, Gus will eat the best food he can possibly have, whatever's going to make him healthy. Sometimes I don't have time to spend with Gus, but I make time. I make time to walk him. I make time to make sure that he's happy because it was my responsibility as a pet owner. You know, I chose to own him. So he can't help himself. He can't go make lunch for himself. So I got to do it. So I make time for that. With this truck, this whole project, I didn't really have the time. I didn't have the money. Didn't have any tools. Didn't have the knowledge. But I made it happen. And I feel very proud of myself for doing that. I mean, and some of you guys out there who are mechanically inclined, you might be thinking, what's the big deal? What do you want? A pat on your back? You know, you want a little clap from all of us? Yay, you did something normal. For me, it's a big deal. You know, and a lot of people out there, what's easy to one person is very hard for someone else, you know, and people get very discouraged. There's a lot of things that you guys won't do just because either you're afraid of failure, can't speak, um, perhaps afraid to be mocked or criticized if you do something wrong. How many times in your life have you wanted to try something, but you didn't because, first of all, no one wanted to do it with you. Okay, so you didn't want to look stupid doing it by yourself. Or perhaps you just didn't know how, and you didn't want people to go, oh my God, you don't know how to do that? You know, some people find shame in not knowing certain things. That's silly. How can you know stuff unless you've been taught it? You know, there's a lot of things in life people don't know. You don't ask questions about simple things because you don't want to feel stupid about it. Instead of asking a person, you go on Google and you laugh to yourself. Oh, that's what everyone's talking about. There's no shame in asking questions and trying to learn stuff. And above all, admitting that you don't know everything. That's the biggest part of becoming a mature adult is saying, hey, you know what? I don't know everything. And like most teenagers in my youth, I thought I knew everything. I thought, I mean, I knew I didn't literally know everything, but I thought like, oh yeah, I knew that. I knew that. I had that attitude. It was a pretty crappy attitude. As an adult now, I don't get as embarrassed as easily. I don't mind asking stupid questions, you know. How else am I going to find the answers out, you know? But with this truck, everything was against me. But I got mad at myself and I asked myself, Jeff, why can't we do this? Why are you selling yourself short? Why can't I do what the mechanic's going to do? As long as I get the right tools, make time for it, prioritize my time, I can make this happen. And I did just that. Now, I didn't finish the race. I didn't get to that finish line. It's kind of like if you start a marathon, you didn't win the whole race. But even though you didn't cross that finish line first, even though you didn't get to the end of your goal, maybe you ran the fastest you've ever run before. Maybe you went the longest distance you've ever gone before. You have your own personal goals that you've accomplished along the way. So I didn't complete this entire goal by getting this truck in tip-top shape and ready to go and inspected for Pennsylvania, and it's not a vehicle I can use right now. But I got a vehicle that wasn't starting at all, had no idea what was wrong with it, and went in there with, again, no time, money, tools, or knowledge, and I figured it out. I found the money, I found the time. I approached it in its simplest form. This is just a collection of different moving parts, and I had to figure out what parts do what. I try to approach it very logically. Let's see, let's start from the beginning. The car doesn't work, so what do? What parts in a car make it start? I figured those parts out. I checked those parts. I brought them places to make sure they're working or not working. I figured out what was going on. Initially I bought tools. I invested in tools, and I have to thank a couple of YouTubers, by the way, along this whole journey. Mad Bad Voodoo kept popping in my head every time I grabbed a wrench or a socket driver or something. I was thinking of Mad Bad Voodoo because I know he's always talking about how he loves tools, and I get that now. I'm totally a tool whore, and I could admit that. And every single time we go to the store, if I have an opportunity to pick up a new tool, for my tool collection, awesome. Because having the right tools for the job certainly makes life a lot easier. I used to MacGyver everything. I didn't quite have that wrench, so nothing really fits that. So I'm going to use some kind of pliers instead. No, you can't do that. You got to use the right tools, make it easier for yourself. And that's what I did. I started investing in some tools. Don't worry, I'm not going to start doing hammer reviews, although I'm sure at least two of you out there would love that, a hammer review. Oh, and I can kick butt reviewing a hammer. You be sure of that. But don't worry, I won't show off with a hammer review. But yeah, I have an appreciation for tools now, and I do have Mad Bad Voodoo to thank for that. He's been an inspiration for that. Another person on YouTube I want to say really inspired me with this whole project was Cody. Cody is Wrangler Star. Used to be Wrangler Barn. Cody does a lot of videos on just tackling projects, getting in there, using different tools, doing some big things. Building a whole homestead for him and his wife and his child, and just really inspirational. Hands-on guy, seems very mechanical. I think for a living he worked with Wranglers. It's Jeeps, all kinds of Jeep parts and stuff. That's where he got his name from, or where his name was created from. But I've seen a lot of videos of him just getting in and doing stuff, not being afraid to just, how does this work? Let me take it apart, or let me build this by hand. That's pretty inspirational. A plus to you, Cody. You got a great channel. I followed you from the beginning, and I'm glad when you switched over to a new channel, I was able to find it. But yeah, I thought about you too. When I got frustrated about something, I thought about all the people in my life who I've seen do projects and tackle things and just get it done. People who are just get it done. No laziness, no let's put it off to the side, no procrastination, no giving up. I've given up too much in my life. I'm giving up. If that makes any sense. I felt very inspired, and like I said, even though I didn't get to the finish line, I got a heck of a long way down that race, and I am so proud of myself. But this isn't a big yippee for me video too. I want to pass this information on to you guys. I want to inspire you. I want to give you the confidence to have confidence in yourself. You can accomplish anything. Before this project, I knew nothing about cars. I couldn't even change my own oil. Well, that's not true. I did start changing my own oil when I had the van, to save money. And there's a pride in that. Let me tell you something. When this car started, when I'm working on this truck, and it's one thing after another. I mean, I would replace a cable, and this ground, the negative cable on the battery, I realized it wasn't connected. So, okay, let me, bolt this to the frame, and that's all snug and tight and everything. And I'm all dirty and greasy, and I get up and I try it, and it doesn't work. That's kind of a bummer, But in my mind, I didn't waste money on this cable. All I did was replace that cable. It's not the problem, that I'm currently having to deal with, but it's not going to hurt anything. It's keeping a positive attitude, And when I eventually worked on this thing, and I put a new starter in it, and the starter solenoid, and all these different parts, when I got to that moment where I put the key ignition, I closed my eyes, and I said a little prayer, and I said, please start up. And I cringed, and I turned that, and it started. It started. This car's been sitting, this truck has been sitting for a year. No one touched it. It was dead. No idea what was wrong with it. I went through the motions. I started from the beginning and I started replacing all these parts, and I got to a point where I fixed the thing. It started up and it sounded beautiful. It was music to my ears. That's the feeling I can imagine that, a racer would have when they put their arms out and they cross that finish line, that ribbon finish line. They feel it on their body. It was that moment. It was like fireworks going off. And I just felt good. I felt good about myself. I went, holy crap. I did it. I fixed this truck. It was a great moment. And, you guys can have that moment all the time in your life. Every single time you think like, oh, I don't know, I can't really do that. Or, if someone wants to do something with you and you're like, oh, I'm nervous. I don't really like, I don't want to, forget it. Forget about what people think of you. Forget about what you think you can do. Know it. Own it. Totally own it. And you know that, you know what, I can't fail. I can't fail at this. I'm going to do this. And if you have that confidence and you build this confidence in yourself, you will succeed. You may not succeed all the time. Look what happened with me. I didn't get to the finish line, but I got darn close. Farther than I've ever been in my entire life. No mechanical skill whatsoever. I went online, I read forums on off-roading and stuff. I try to find out what typical problems were with these types of cars or trucks. I went through the motions. I learned about things. I can carry all the knowledge that I've taken away from this experience into my future. I will have multiple vehicles before I die. I'm hoping. Not to say I'm going to have crappy vehicles, but I just hope I live a long time, and with that comes anyway. I'm assuming I'll have a bunch of vehicles before my time's up on this planet. And learning what parts do and why is this like this, and how to get in there with the proper tool, and take a bolt off that I can't reach and use an extension piece, and all these little things, I can carry this over into the future. I can save money and I can save time by maintaining my vehicles properly in the future. So I didn't just walk away from this experience a failure. I walked away a big winner in a lot of ways, and I just feel very proud of it. I want to share with you guys, and I wanted to just tell you that you guys have to believe in yourself. Anything you want to accomplish, you can do it. Don't think anything's out of reach. If you get a moment in your life where you want to do something, I mean, you really have an interest in it. You're like, I really want to do that, but I'm not that person. I can never do that. Whatever that is, you can do it. So I want you to try to do that. Just from me to you, just from friend to friend. Don't be embarrassed about failing. Failure is not a bad thing. As long as you try and you give it your best shot every single time, you're never going to be a failure. And that's the God's honest truth. You cannot fail by trying. I feel good. I feel good about this whole experience. And like I said, I walked away with a lot of stuff. Now I sacrificed a little bit, and I have some nice tools, in my tool chest. I don't literally have a tool chest yet, but I feel good. Like if there's projects in the future, I'm ready. I'm ready for them. I gained some confidence from this. I was able to accomplish something I never thought I would be able to do. I never in a million years thought I'd be able to take a non-running truck and just figure it out on my own. No help from anyone. This was all me, and I feel very proud of that. And I wanted to share that with you guys. I think it's very encouraging. I think if there's something that you're specifically struggling with, I've had some messages recently that prompted me to kind of talk about this in general, but you can relate this information to anything in your life. If you're struggling, if you're having a hard time, don't be afraid of trying new things. Don't be afraid of going outside of your comfort level. There's no way you're ever going to be able to expand as a person and expand your personality and try new things and experience new great things unless you put yourself out there. And sometimes you will get smacked down, and sometimes you will get owned, okay? And you will feel embarrassed and you will feel stupid, but that's all part of the learning process. And you cannot succeed. You cannot pass and get better and better and better unless you try. So don't sell yourself short. Try and give your all, and you'll never fail. That's what I've learned. So anyway, I just want to share that because there were some recent messages of people asking some advice and stuff, and I think this kind of pertains to it. Not someone else is fixing a truck, but something else they can relate this to in their life. So I thought I'd make a video on it and share with everyone. Why not? So anyway, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope you learned something from this, and I hope you gained a little bit of confidence in yourself. And I hope you enjoy the rest of your day and every other day to follow. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you soon. Take care.